A Plaguelands Media production.
Hey everyone, this is Hugh from Plaguelands Media bringing you another book review today. Oh, I do so love doing these. I know they don't get a lot of views on the channel, but you know what? I'm not here for the views. I'm here just to give you my thoughts on the books that I read and the things that I like. So, cheers to being a nerd. Now today, I'm bringing you a book by an author that I only recently discovered, which really pisses me off because his first novel, which I'm reviewing today, was released in 1989. The fact that I haven't heard of this guy is one of those things that it's on me, of course. When I was younger, my reading tastes were very narrow, and I only kind of looked at certain authors and certain genres. Now, this guy is a horror author, quite a prolific one. In fact, on the cover of his first novel, Stephen King has a quote, "The Horror Poet Laureate." Now, we all know that quotes from famous authors on the book covers of other authors is usually garbage. But still, I'm going to review Bentley Little's first novel today, The Revelation. Now, I read this on my Kindle, so that is why I cannot hold up a physical copy of it. If I had a physical copy, I would love to get every one of these guys' books. I thoroughly enjoyed his first novel, and so that's why I'm going to talk about it today. And this is going to be a spoiler-filled fucking review. So you know what I already think of the book. You can walk away now, go get it for yourself, read it, that's fine. Otherwise, join me for the next exciting adventures in... Okay, where do I start with this one? The prologue begins with this weird Native American shamanistic ritual where there is a preacher who is kind of guiding them through this thing. We don't really know what's going on at this point in time. The scene then shifts to, I guess, 1989, but modern times, however you want to call it, where a church has been desecrated and the priest and his family are missing. It's been desecrated with goat's blood. The main character, or who we think is the main character, there's actually three main characters in this book, but the first main character we're introduced to is Gordon. Gordon is an aspiring writer who works delivering Pepsi, of all things, to the garages and restaurants in the town and the neighboring kind of counties. That's his job. His wife is a school teacher. They don't want kids, but somehow his wife is pregnant. She assures Gordon that she has used birth control, and so they book a visit to the town doctor. The next main character is Jim Weldon. He is the sheriff. So we're introduced to him as he's investigating not only the desecration of the church and the disappearance of the former priest, the Selway family, but at the same time, there's a little boy called Don that comes to Jim in his capacity as the sheriff and says that he knows where the Selway family is. He saw it in his dreams, so he's been getting these prophetic dreams. Jim at first doesn't believe him. The little boy is scared, but ultimately the little boy, Don, takes Jim to the local landfill where they dig up the remains of the wife and the two children of the priest. They don't find the priest's body, but the wife and the two children have been horribly mutilated. The third main character is Father Andrew. He has been sent to take over from Father Selway's position in the town. Although there are a lot of churches in the town, This is the Episcopal Church, and Father Andrew has taken over his position. Now, I say there are three main characters, but there's one character that ties them all together. That is the character of Father Elias. Elias is a traveling preacher who goes from town to town. He comes to the town of Randall, that this is set in, and he starts preaching about revelations and the end of the world and all this kind of utter garbage. So that's your setup. At this point, you've also got mutilated goats, you've got some dead farmers in town, and you've got all kinds of weird shit happening. The doctor who is looking after Gordon's wife, Marina, informs her that there were other women in town, like last year, that fell pregnant and had either deformed children or stillborn children. He believes it's something in the water, and she should be very careful. Perhaps he doesn't suggest an abortion, but she kind of gets that idea, and so her and her husband talk about it. He wants the child. She's scared. She never wanted children, and it's kind of this back and forth through the whole book. So that's your setup. That's where we are about a third of the way into the book, and then the weird shit starts to happen. The little boy, Don, dies in a house fire, presumably set by his mother, but we don't quite know. Father Elias is arrested and reveals to the sheriff that an evil is coming to Randall that he has to stop, and the sheriff's going to be part of it because Elias knew the sheriff's great-grandfather, who was sheriff at the time, back in the day, and knows all of this information about Jim's great-grandfather. Some teenagers go camping in the woods. They go missing. A search party is sent out to look for them, which shuts the town down. The town runs around this paper mill, but without the requisite people to run it, then the paper mill kind of shuts down. And so a whole lot of things are going on. At the same time, you get this idea that there are little fetus creatures running around, like little unborn babies or stillborn babies or shit running around killing people and mutilating cats and stuff like that. Very reminiscent of the film It's Alive. If you've ever seen the It's Alive series, It's Alive, It's Alive 2, and It's Alive 3, Island of the Alive, it just reminded me a lot of that. It turns out that there is a reason for this, and that is because, according to Father Elias, the traveling preacher, when a child hasn't been born, it knows neither good nor evil, and it's more susceptible to Satan and Satan's kind of whisperings. So in this book, effectively Satan is choosing Randall as the town of Randall as the fighting ground between heaven and hell, and his army basically consists of stillborn children and aborted fetuses. There is a place in town where the children used to talk about going there and hearing children giggling and laughing and screaming and things like that. And that is basically where people in town, going all the way back to Native American times, would bury stillborn or deformed children that have just been kind of born. So you have that going on. And ultimately, it leads to a showdown between Father Elias, Father Andrew, who has psychic powers, I might add. We're not told this because Don, the little boy that had the dreams, was supposed to be the psychic conduit between heaven and earth. But because he was killed, Father Andrew is now the psychic conduit between heaven and earth. So Father Elias, Father Andrew, Jim, the sheriff, and Gordon kind of go to fight this evil. Now, the reason Gordon gets drawn into this is because as his wife is pregnant, Father Elias reveals that Gordon's daughter is going to grow up to be a prodigy, someone with amazing talent, and they're the people that Satan wants. And you're led to believe that this same kind of thing happened with the birth of Beethoven and the birth of Albert Einstein and all of these kind of geniuses throughout history, Satan was trying to get them from the womb, is what he's kind of implying here. So they go, they have the big showdown. Shit happens. I'm not going to go into detail because it's pretty fucking disgusting when giant fetal babies rise up from the ground and start crawling towards people, and then there's a Jurassic Park style, like Jurassic Park The Lost World, if you remember that movie where the raptors are getting everyone in the grass and the grass is tall and you don't see them coming, you only see their tails. Picture that in a forest with aborted fetuses and lumberjacks, and you pretty much got the same fucking thing. It's amazing. Like, I cannot fucking stress that enough. It's fucking amazing. This is a good Conquers Evil horror novel. So the ending was a little bit of a letdown. Ultimately what happens, I'm not going to spoil the exact details of it for you. A little bit of a letdown, but ultimately I have become a huge fan of Bentley Little, and I will be pursuing more of his books and seeing what else he came up with from 1989 onwards. So that is The Revelation. I absolutely love this. Let me just bring the cover back up for you. The Revelation. Oh, there we go. The Revelation by Bentley Little. Absolutely loved it. An old 1989 horror novel, of course. His first book has to play upon the religious aspect, and I don't mind that in my horror novels. I really don't. I think there is some great themes and some great takeaways that we can have from some really good religious-themed horror novels. I honestly do. This one, excellent. Really, really good. I am so fucking pissed that I only discovered him this year, but them's the breaks. So, yes, The Revelation, Bentley Little. If you want a good religious-based horror story set way back where people were still delivering Pepsi by hand, hey, knock yourself out. But, most importantly, like, subscribe, leave a comment, hit that notification button to get notified whenever I release a new video. But please, everyone, stay safe. Have a drink. I'm recording this on a Saturday afternoon, so fuck it. I'm about to go make quesadillas. That's my Saturday afternoon, so enjoy it. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. I just said it. Fuck it. Whatever. Take a drink. Stay safe. Have a great rest of your day. And most importantly, what was that? What? Yes. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, you want them to read a fucking book, people? All right, I'll let them know. Read a fucking book, people.